Expert, Computer Aided Manufacturing Expert. Okay. So, hope you just get a small idea about what is precast construction, its advantages, disadvantages, etc. So we can go through the software. So I just open Revit software here, and first of all, I have to set a proper template. So I'm going to Models New, and from here we can browse the template. So here we can utilize the template structure analysis deformatory, which can be used for like concrete, TA modeling. Similarly, it also be used for precast modeling, and also we have another template for precast here, precast detailing deformatory. We can choose anything. So here I am choosing structure analysis deformatory, and I am opening. Okay, so we hope you were familiar about the interface of Revit. So we have defaultly 2 levels, and I'm going to elevation. So now it's that default unit, that is 3000 mm, right? So if you want to set unit, you can set. Now I'm going to set the unit in meters. Okay, so it's not a mandatory step. If you want to do, you can set in a particular unit. So first of all, we are going to use this tab. Like in Revit by 2021 itself, is new tab is introduced as precast. So it's still what like modifying. So here we have actually a few tools over here. That means there is no components we can take it from. So as we open it using structural analysis default metric, so that we have to access the structural components like a slab or wall, anything we can take it from where the structure tab, right? So now we are going to utilize this precast tab, and first of all I have to do some settings before modeling. So from here we can change the parts visibility. Now it's show original. I'm changing that to show parts, and also the detail level to fine. Okay, so let's start modeling. So first of all, I'm going to create walls. So I'm in level 1, and I'm going to structure tab, and from here I'm taking wall structural, and here we have drawn tools. From here we can choose the most suitable one. Now I'm taking directly a rectangle one, or any we can use, and okay. So from the property books we can see that okay, so after drawing we can change that one. Okay, so from here I'm changing this to wall structural. Then I'm taking rectangle here and changing it to height. Okay. So and 3D it should be like this. That means I just created a large hall. Consider it's a hall or a like the outer wall of the building. Okay. And in elevation, what it starts from level 1 to level 2, that's up to 3 meter height, right? So I can go to level 1. So first of all, we have to do an action to see under action. That means, suppose I want to perform a specific action now, but before that, we have to do split. Okay. So only after we just split the walls, or even if it is a slab, so after that only we can access the changes. So we have to do splits in between. So we can start in splitting. That means now it's just like what a single wall, okay, and its length is of like 15.8 meters. So it's not impossible to uh, cast a large length wall. Okay, so we have to do it. So I'm going to level 1, and from here I am taking split option. Okay. So then select the walls, click finish. Okay, then we can go 3D view. So look, so here the wall is splitted. Okay, and like now the one side wall is split into two components. Along with that, we connections, that is the mounting parts also visible. So the mounting parts and the connection element should be visible only. We can do like show both, or we can go for show parts. Okay, so now we just not customize. It's like split it according to some default values, right? So if we want to customize this one, we can go for configuration. That means I'm just take for configuration. Now I even again select the another option. So it's just defaultly created as what, a solid wall. Okay. So from solid wall we have some more options. Okay, that means we have segmentation option, reinforcement, and also from here also we can take the reinforcement option. So now I'm going to detail in segmentation. Okay, so I'm taking the segmentation. Here we have minimum wall length for precast and maximum wall length, minimum wall height, maximum wall height, and maximum weight, horizontal gap. That means the physical gap created in between two components. Okay. So before that, like if I just split a wall, so the whole wall is called as an assembly, and the individual parts and its like mounting parts are like it's a parts. Okay, and the mounting parts and the components and the elements collectively called as an assembly, right? So here from here we can change this value. That means if we are considering a precast wall for a residential building, so at that time 3 meter height is the and 3 meter length. It should be the minimum value for height and length. Okay, but like the maximum height and length should be 3.6 meter height and 12 meter length. So we can adjust that. Now the minimum length is 0.5 meter wall length. So I'm changing that to 0.6. That means the minimum value is 0.6. Also, we can customize. Later, we can go through that. And here, this means the minimum wall length is 0.6, and any value more than 0.6 should be what it should be taken. That is the meaning. And then choosing the maximum wall height as 3.6. Here I'm choosing a default value, that is 3 meter. And here minimum wall height to 3 and maximum height to 12. I'm putting a standard values. So here the change is not visible. So if the change should be visible, we have to split it once again. That is the use of split. So using split actually it's used to divert the walls and slabs into hot precast panels. So I am again splitting. So here they should send a message. Could not perform segmentation according to the precast configuration. So we have to please check the configuration settings. That means the we just provided a minimum and maximum value, right? So the here we already perform a proper segmentation so that the segmentation is not coinciding with the configuration we just give. So that we just give that a bound message. So we can change the configuration. That's so I'm changing her to 1 meter, and also it's about a 2 meter. And I just give me a small value. Minimum wall height is 0.5 and maximum up to 5 meter. Okay. Again, select the walls. Go to Precast. Okay. Again, we can go to 3D. What happened? So actually, the first time, the a single wall is split into two parts. Okay. Now the wall is split into several components, but it's not customized. Like we didn't give a single length value, but we just customize the configuration. That means in configuration, like it's defaultly created as a solid wall. So in segmentation, like I just provide a minimum wall length of 1 meter, okay, which means and the maximum up to 2 meter. That means the wall created here should be in between that range. Similarly, the minimum wall height is 0.5 meter and the maximum should be 5. Okay, that means I just give an elevation of 3 meter in 3 meter. That means the level 1 to level 2. That is 3 meter, right? And here the maximum wall height is 5 meter. Okay, so up to 5 meter should be what affordable, so that it should not be like splitted. It should be as a single panel by height base. Okay, hope you just understood the difference. That means in South Television, I just provided 3 meter here and I just give a maximum value of 5 meter in configuration. That's why it should be created as a single panel. Okay. So suppose if I want to provide doors or windows, that means if it is a precast structure, the openings for doors and windows are also inbuilt, right? So suppose if I want to provide doors or windows, what to do? Can take that from architecture tab. That means along with precast that should not be work. That means only we have few options. But like in structure tab, we can take slabs, walls, etc. Structural walls, etc. And in architecture tab, we can take that component. So I'm taking door. And if you want to customize the type, go to edit type, duplicate, and we can provide a suitable name. I'm giving us door opening. Okay, and from here we can customize the width and height. Now the unit is set to be in meter. So I'm giving 1 meter width and height up to the standard height, that is 2.1. Okay, to level 1, second door. Okay, the span is less than that one. That is, it should not be there. So no problem, we can create a new one and after that we can place. So in 3D, this should be like this. So what to do before every action, we just split it. So select it and go to Precast tab, take split. Okay. Now the configuration should be according to the previously determined values. So from here, the minimum wall length is of 1. I'm changing that to 1.5. Then select Go to Precast tab to split. Okay. So again, I'm taking door. Give this a minute. Okay, so after providing reinforcement, we can do the same. Okay, right. So now I just provided a splitting and we just configure that one. Okay. So at like in between we can provide doors and windows. Okay. So next we can go to slab. So I'm going to level 2 and from here architect structure tab. From structure, floor structure also we can take slab or directly from slab also we can perform the same. So I'm taking this floor structural and now the height is 300. If you want to customize, you can go for the customization. So I'm taking rectangle and providing an offset of, you can provide any offset. I'm giving 0.6, that is 60 centimeter offset. It's not mandatory. Then change the view to realistic. Okay. So this is the wall this created and this is the slab created. So we have to split it the slab 2. So go to level 2 and go to Precast tab, take split, turn off multiple, select the slab. So at that time they should ask for the floor type. So from here we can change it to solid slab, hollow core slab and a girder. Okay. So I'm now directly go to solid slab, solid one. Okay. So this is the slab. So if you want to customize it, what to do? Again, go to configuration. And from here, now we just take the solid slab option. So the solid wall option, we have slab option, right? So from there, it's the solid slab and separate settings for each and every slab. So it is solid slab. We are doing a hollow core slab, go for this one. And if it is a vertical slab, we can go for it. Okay. So normally hollow core slab should be much less weight as compared to solid slab. That means it should be hollow inside. Also, we can do it for it's lightweighted. If we want to minimize the weight of a building, we can do that. Or also, it should be more heat insulation properties. So now I'm going to solid slab and go to segmentation. From here, we have a minimum width and also a maximum slab width is there. And also we can change the gap in between. Okay, so the main thing is we have to set configuration. Also, we can customize the configuration also. Okay, so I just select a one parts. So at that time in the top we have edit or divide part. So I'm going to edit division option and edit sketch option. So from here we can customize. So now I'm taking this pick line option, giving a value on 5. Okay, I'm just providing some offsets here. Okay, then finish. Then finish sketch. So what to do? So I just split this up to a particular dimension here. It's a default one. Okay. Suppose I want to provide further for splitting. Okay. That means suppose I want to customize the splitting. So at that time we can do for the option. That means by selecting one component, go to edit division, and from there we can add or delete any components. Okay, by using edit sketch option. Okay. So suppose don't want, also we can remove it. So in this way we can customize. So there is two customizations for the segments created. That means one thing is select and we can go for configuration. First one. Okay, so from configuration there is an option for customization. We just set a minimum and maximum value. Okay, but go to edit parts or divide parts option. We can customize the up to a particular required length, right? Okay. So next we can go through how to provide a reinforcement. Okay. So again, go to reinforcement panel and I'm selecting so it should be more easy. Go to level 2. Okay. So like in level 2, here we have what we can see the wall components and also the slab components, right? So it's not like possible to select all this. Why? Because it's two in different categories. That means I'm taking reinforcement and I'm selecting the entire object and providing enter. Okay. So at that time we just give a warning. They should give a warning message. That means cannot create a reinforcement for elements that have not been previously okay. And also first of all, I have to split, and also for walls and slab, we should provide separate reinforcement. Okay, and again we can split it. So select the entire object, go to precast and split, and also the reinforcement is even visible, not visible if we are not split the component. And similarly, if we perform some action, sometimes it should not be directly visible. That means if we change the configuration, then it is not directly visible, what to do? Again, split the element. Okay, so that is the user split. It should be actually used for splitting the elements. That's okay. But if we just perform another actions, even though it is not visible, what to do? We can go through split. So from there, take reinforcement. So at the time of finishing, they should ask for no reinforcement type, solid slab rebar reinforcement, and solid slab fabric reinforcement. So if you don't want no reinforcement type, we can go for that option. Or suppose if we want solid slab reinforcement, that is the default reinforcement type. And next about the fabric reinforcement, that means it is a layer of fabric sheets and it's made of welded fabric wires and it's hosted in concrete and slabs and walls. So now I'm going to solid slab rebar reinforcement and okay. So click here. So the reinforcement should be there. And layers of rebar should be there. And also a certain kind of rebar should be placed here. So we have also additional options to set the spacing, the rebar size, etc. This should be we are using for here. So we can do for that one. That means I'm taking reinforcement option here. I'm just selecting this panel, and here we have an option, what edit option. So I'm going to edit option. So from here, suppose if we want to add a new one, we can go for this plus option. And the reinforcement here is steel bar. Also, we can provide one mesh type. And the position here is top, and we can provide a cover offset. And we have two options here, rebar area inside and rebar area outside, which means suppose we are constructing a wall, what to do? There should be an outer face and also inner face. Same way it's a slab, also it has a top and bottom, that's mentioned here as inside and outside. And from here we can choose any sizes of rebar. Now it is of 10 mm. And if we want to specify a particular number, that means we just calculate the number of bars. So sometimes in some sections we can just provide by number, by main bars, right? Also, if we want to provide a distance or maximum distance, we can do that. Like similarly, spans and flare spans. And also the bar direction here is longitudinal. Also, we can take it in transverse direction. That means in an XY plane that is mentioned here, and the distribution offset and start and end offset and the bar length offset should be mentioned there. And similarly, the outer should be there. I'm going for the default one. And okay. So the rebar should be there. So somewhat suppose the rebar is not visible, what to do? Again go to the action split. Okay. So that is the user split here. So I just provided the reinforcement. So similarly, we can provide a reinforcement to all the elements. Okay. Suppose even though the wall may be of a reinforced wall, also we can provide reinforcement to wall. That means by taking reinforcement, we can select the components. Now I just select these much components. Okay, but the reinforcement for a different component is not possible. Suppose we can do entire wall, or we can do to the entire slab, but it's not possible to provide for both walls or slabs. Okay. So after this, what to do? So as by the workflow, we just configure, we just divide into components, and after that we just provide reinforcement, right? So next we can create the shop drawings of this, right? So for shop drawings, take shop drawing, and we have to select the components. Okay, then finish. Okay, so it should take some time, even though the shop drawing should be created along with that one. So what is a shop drawing? A simple drawing, it should be easily understood by the laborers, right? So it is a drawing or a set of drawings. It should be not produced by engineers, right? That means the labor should not be understood the drawings by the engineers. So the shop drawings might be done by contractors, suppliers, consultants, etc. And the shop drawings are what typically required for a prefabricated component. That means from there we just got the details about. That means as I mentioned that the always a disadvantage of the precast construction is it should required what more skilled laborers, right? That means it should be like the component should be prefabricated and it should be properly erected. That means not a casting site one, it should be a prefabricated one. So it should be thoroughly placed with care and should provide proper connection in between. That means we are creating multi-story building. Okay. So from here, in the property, sorry, project browser schedules. From here, we can first of all we can take the material takeoff. That means look here. materials, its volume and its categories, whether parts or even it's an assembly, and about walls. And salt slab part list template, and from there the family and type, and the number is listed here, and the grand total is also listed here. Okay, so if we want to add any new things, what to do? We can go through in fields, go to edits, and from here we can add the necessary things to this schedule. So now this is set as what a default one, which is similar to all other schedules in Revit, right? So also rebar list. So from there we can see the partition, the rebar number, and some properties like ABC. That means the dimensional parameters we are using at the time of creating a rebar shape, right? And also the total length. Suppose if we want to add no new things, that means if here the ABC is vacant. Why? Because a rebar used in this slab might be consist of another dimension, like even might be D, E, or F, or any other parameters. That means we can go to fields, and from here we can add. Then here the A, B, C, D, C, which are the dimensional parameters that we are assigning at the time of creating a rebar family, right? Okay, so that the shop drawing should be created. So suppose now it's created as a whole. Okay, so the it's like a complete assembly. So it is created for all the parts. Suppose I only want a, a single assembly detailing. Then what to do? Just select one part. Then here we have an option. What? Create views. So go to create views, and here we have so much options. That means 3D auto, plan views, sectional views, elevation views, all elevation, even top, bottom, left, right, or any elevation views, and part list, material takeoff, anything we can add. That means these three are already taken. That's why it is inactive here. So from here, I'm just taking 3D plan, section AB, and elevation top only. Why? Because we are now turn on all the options, it should take some more time. Okay, also if we want to place it in a sheet, we can turn off the sheet option, and also from here we can customize a particular sheet. Okay, or if we want to create, like suppose we are working in a company, we just created our own template, then we can go to load option and we can take that one. Now I'm go to A1 metric. From assemblies. Okay, solid tab, right, and go to this option. We have 3D view, the front elevation view. Now the unit settings, you can change that one. That's why it's 0. Go to length, to 3 decimal places. 0 is okay. So that the value is the display. And in elevation right, elevation at the top, material takeoffs, already taken. Okay, that means simple material takeoff. That means I just click on a single part of that slab, right? So the category here is a part, and you can see the volume and material, etc. Okay, so it's very simple to take the details. Why? Because it is very important that we have to keep a shop drawing mostly like in a site, because it should be very important. If any connection length is less as required, it should be like causing many problems. That's why it's more important in regards to customize the shop drawings, right? So in this way also, suppose if you want to go for editing, like if we want to format unit, that means change the unit, we can go to this option, and from here we can customize the unit as well. That is simple settings. Okay, so next we have an option like cam export. That means nowadays it's casting, not casting sequence, casting the industries by molds. Okay, so somewhat like another trend is cam. CAM means what? Computer aided manufacturing, right? So at that time, uh, we can just export the details to any computer assisted machine. So by using that, we can also do manufacturing of these units, right? So for that, what to do? A CAM export. First of all, I just selecting this option, and from Precast, go for a CAM export. Here we have some options. Okay, and the file type mentioned here should be what? It's not we can read that language. It should be a machine understood language. Okay, that we are going to export to a machine. Okay, which we can handle using what a software, right? So here we have mainly using we can use UXML and the PXML option. Now here it is a UXML. So I'm switching this to PXML. One more option should be there. So what is UXML and PXML? So these are like markup languages. That means not understand by a person, should be understand by a machine. Okay. So these are the kind of text files that define the logical structure of a user interface, and it's like a hyper markup languages similar to HTML. That should be more familiar. Kind of HTML, that is hypertext markup languages, and XML, that is extensible markup languages. Okay, so we can choose any option. Now I'm going for UXML, and also we can choose a path. That means from which path the CAM file should be saved. Okay, so now this a new folder in desktop, and go for create one subfolder for each element type, and go to generate option. So each and every action in it should take a few seconds. So we can, so here we have a new folder is created. So from there we can have, that means we just provide the option, that means for a single folder there should be subfolders. I'm taking that. So we can open that in either Notepad or Word. So here the hollow core slab and state and size should be there. Okay. So it is not a manual language, it's like a machine language. Then we can insert the details to that machine, that should be controlled by a software, right? And also we just created solid slab here. So I'm going to level 2. I'm going to create a hollow core slab here. Okay. So for that, okay. So one thing we have to note out that while we are creating a hollow core slab, we are just created using this generic 300 then they should go for a warning message. That means they should give, like it should be an improper thickness. So we can take another value. Okay. Duplicate hollow core structure edit. So I'm changing this to pond 2. Okay. Then we can go to split action. Take split, select. So from here we can change this to hollow core slab. So hollow core is a kind of slab using nowadays. That means it should contain a hole inside. So hope you know that by selecting a slab we can change it to whether or one way or two way, right? So go to 3D. The slab should be like this. That means it should be a hollow inside. Similar to this. It should be hollow inside. Also, like in precast construction, pre-stressing is nowadays using very much. That means we can prevent it from cracking, or we can it should be bearing heavy loads. Okay, that means the deflections also we can control while applying service loads. That means by we can do like pre-tensioning, post-tensioning. So that means we can use that technology. That is pre-stressing is widely used nowadays in precast industry. So in this way, we can create hollow core slab. Okay, that means we can do the same performance. That means we can split that one. Okay, we already split that. Or next, we can provide a reinforcement. We can take the shop drawings, or we can do the cam exports. Anything also we can customize the size by what we can go to what configurations. We can customize the minimum or maximum size. Okay. Also, we can enable or disable option is there. So once the use of this disable and enable option is, if they are now it is in disabled condition. That means if there is a changes in the slab size, then the sizes should be reflect in the mounting parts and the parts in that assembly. Okay, so if they are disabling, if it just changes the size, then it should not be reflected in the other components. That is the option of disable and enable. And also we can create double walls. So for double walls, I'm going to this level 1. Okay. And in architecture tab, we can take wall structural and go to edit type, duplicating to double wall. Okay. And go to edit. So double walls are what normally provided for heat insulation. That means there should be a heat insulation layer, that is an air layer in between, right? So we can add 2 more layers. But like normally, if we are customizing a wall, what to do? We just provide this 4 boundary layers at the top and bottom of the main structure, right? So should not do that here. Why? Because now we just providing an air layer in between and 2 concrete layers in top and bottom, right? So at that time we just provide this core boundary at the extreme top and bottom. It's the extreme outer ends. Okay, not provide this core boundary for the middle structure, right? So from there we can provide the thickness, providing 1.2 and 0.7. We can provide any thickness as required, and also we can add the material here. So it's a double wall, so I'm providing an air cavity wall at the middle, air layer, and its a function should be what, thermal or air layer. And here we can provide concrete. If there is a precast material, we can go that. So I'm creating a new material. Precast. Go to material library. So here we have some precast material. Choose any material. Okay. So for here also we can do the same. Okay. So the wall is created. Then use a rectangle. So like in 3D it should be. So I just provide a much big thickness so as to be visible. So middle air layer and the top and bottom concrete layers. Okay. So next this we can do that. How to place door. That is. So again I'm going to create a wall. Okay, so this is the wall created. Then I'm going to split this. Then go to configuration. Go to level 1. Let's try to put door over here. So it should not be displaying there. So this is the way to provide wall. Sorry, door in walls. That means you can directly take a door that it should be like defaultly created like an opening. That means we can directly place over here. It's not working. So if we're providing window, we can provide a proper sill height. We have to find out that. So that's all about the session. So if you have any doubt, you can ask. So I will give a summary about the session. That means we have to create walls. That means they are constructing a structure using precast. Like, okay, that means we just place the roof and walls, and also like in this figure it is created like a double wall. That means hope you can see the middle layer should be an air layer, and the placement of door and window is same. So it's not like creating now, you just practice that. Okay. So, and this is about a hollow core slab in between, and also we can provide reinforcement. And these are the mounting parts, and that means we can fix the components for a proper anchorage. So and after that, that means we first do the configuration, then we just provide the suitable segments. If we want to customize the segments by length, we can do that, and after that we just provide the reinforcement. That should be also customizable, and after that we can take the shop drawings or we can create any other views, and after that it is like want to export to any other like it's a CAM, that is a computer manufacturing system. We can do that also. So these are the tools available in Revit Precast. So if you have any doubts, you can ask now.
Okay. So there's no doubt we can wind up the session. Okay, thank you.